And we are finally back, ladies and gentlemen. Just like Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, I am late for my show. Just like them, I kept it just like them. So I'm a little late. A few minutes, not late. Just a few minutes, not too much. Not like John and Kyle kept us waiting. I was at work today, and I had planned it to be, I was like, I got 11 o'clock to like 11:20. I can knock this out. I get all the information. They got me waiting. My coworker was stressing. He's like, yo, we got to go see this patient. I was like, I can't till 11:30. He was stressing, but we got it done. They made me late, but it is all good. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, press conference today. The players reported, veterans came in. Last week, the rookies were there. But, man, good stuff. Good. This just feels good because 49ers football is back. Football is back in general. Training camp, first day of practice is tomorrow. I'll be there. I hope you'll be there. And there was a lot of news today. A lot of news. The off-season's over, man. It's just nice to know that the off-season's over. It's done. Like, it was a long off-season. It was a crazy off-season. For me, at least, I was busy with other things. I kind of went MIA on social media, but we're back. I'm excited, and I want to say appreciate to everybody that reached out during the time, because I just wasn't posting, and everybody's like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, I had legit people like doing well checks on me. Like, are you okay? You haven't posted. So I appreciate every single one of you guys out there that, checked in on me. So, I was very, very, very busy, and I just didn't have time, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep the page. Like, I literally went through that mindset of, am I going to continue to do this? I don't know, but we're back. Season's here. I'm hyped up. Let's go, man. Let's go. I went to the cave with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, basically, I was in the darkness cave. It was a crazy, 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 crazy time. But without a doubt, we are back. And the first order of business is let's get to the press conference, the recap. So the big news of the day, the big news is Brock Purdy fully cleared. He's ready to go. He's going to be throwing. He's going to be throwing. A lot of people didn't know if he was even going to be out on the field. A lot of people speculated maybe he's going to be on the PUP list. Maybe he'll be thrown in the back, in purgatory like Jimmy was last year. I was live with Cam Inman last night, and we were both discussing that. We were like, is he even going to be throwing this week? We don't know because we know he's been doing his rehab and stuff in Jacksonville, and he's going through the progress. But this is crazy. Brock Purdy, 5 months removed from a UCL repair, and he's ready to go. Full clear. This guy must be Wolverine or something because the way he's healing is just absolutely amazing, man. And I'm happy for him, The guy came in and he was a lightning rod. He took the league by storm. Mr. Irrelevant. He was almost rookie of the year. Like, he had a magical season. Now he's basically cleared to go as long as there's no setbacks. He's our QB1. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said it months ago, and they said it. He's the quarterback as long as he's healthy. And what Kyle said, he goes, when he's out there, he will be QB1. So that ends all the speculation that everybody was sitting here pumping through the offseason because they got to post content. It's very simple. It was Kyle Shanahan said it already. Brock Purdy's the leader of the clubhouse. He's QB1. And they stood by their words. Now, does it mean that Trey Lance won't get an opportunity? No, he has an absolute opportunity in training camp because the thing is now is, okay, Brock Purdy's cleared. He's got to go out there and show that he's, fully recovered and that he can handle throwing the ball and take those hits eventually. If he has any setback, if Brock Purdy has any setback, which I hope he doesn't, knock on wood, Trey will be there. So this is still important for Trey and his future with the team. And who knows what's going to happen with Trey? Like, I don't know. A lot of people have said, and asked, will they trade him? They keep saying, Trey's very healthy. He looks good. So obviously they want to still promote and paint a good picture for Trey. They want to keep his mindset happy. He looked nice and happy, walking into training camp on the videos they posted. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Trey. He's worked a lot this offseason. I do feel bad. He was a number 3 pick a couple years ago and just really hasn't had an ample opportunity. And then last year he lost it because injury. But at the end of the day, you can't deny what Brock Purdy did, and he's QB1 without a shadow of a doubt. They usually Kyle Shanahan, he plays games with us. He doesn't list the quarterback one, and he goes through the whole offseason, and we're just sitting there wondering. Kyle just said it. They asked him. They said, "Is he going to be QB1?" He says, "Yes." If he's on the field, he's QB1. There's no games. He made it matter of fact, and I like that. They just said it. So there's no games. Nobody could sit here and cry about it and whine about it. They said Brock Purdy's QB1. And I'm happy for the guy because the fact that he came back and he looks like he's in damn good shape. Damn good shape, man. He looks like he's in impeccable top form. So, I'm happy. But now we got to see him throw. And now the key for Brock Purdy is they're going to keep him on a schedule. They're going to ramp him up as he continues to, heal. It's not like he's just going to go out there and throw 500 times tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So he's on a schedule that he's been keeping during the offseason. So they're going to go 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, until he gets to the point where he can throw for multiple days without, any issues. So tomorrow, from what Kyle said, is obviously they're going to go to training camp. It's the first day. He's not going to throw, okay? And then Thursday, Friday, he'll throw. And then he'll have a day off Saturday, which every player has a day off. Then they get back to it on Sunday. He'll throw Sunday, Monday, and then he's off. So that's their schedule with Brock. They don't want to overload him, but they're going to slowly ramp him up. And at the end of the day, man, it's just nice to know that this guy healed. There's no setbacks so far. And again, 5 months ago, Brock Purdy got that dog in him. He's got that dog in him. Like, it's crazy to me that he is fully cleared at this point. Because I remember a lot of people early in this process when he had the surgery and, he came out of, and all the reports came out. People were saying 9 months. He's not going to start. Oh, my God, it's over. His season's over. And Kyle and John kept telling us what the doctors were saying, that at the end of the day, this is what they said. They said, look, we expect him to start week 1. We expect him to start week 1. And that's what they kept saying, is they have the medical team. They have the report. They know what's going on. They're with them. They hear the reports. The doctors are there. He's going through his rehab. Again, if there's no setbacks, Brock Purdy is your QB1. Unbelievable. He got that dog in him. Gotta love it. Shout out to Brock. What's up, Charlie? Real quick, let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. Jedi says he don't miss leg day. That's a mentality. Jedi, I noticed that too. His legs are like Nick Bosa, low-key looking like Nick Bosa. That's what Shanahan says. He's like mini Bosa now. He's got those Bosa legs. I think this is what it was. And I see it in a lot in the rehab world. If you can't use your upper body, you attack the legs. You get your core strong. You get your lower body strong. And then when you're able to start working that upper body, it's like, boom, I'm so much stronger. His endurance is probably going to be better. His escapability, like, he didn't injure his lower body, so he's been grinding it. He looks like he's just in phenomenal shape, just from what we've seen so far, the pictures and everything. So he's been hitting the gym, Charlie. You're absolutely right. This man been grinding. He didn't let this injury bring him down. A lot of times injuries can really bring you down mentally, but not Brock, man. This guy just came in and he says, I got that dog in me. I'm going to go work. I'm not going to let this bring me down. And you got to love it, man. He did not skip leg day. You're absolutely right, Jedi. What's up, Jordan? Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. There's a lot of you in here. Appreciate y'all. Good to be back. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you guys are here. Joey, what's good? Let's go. Omar, Jimmy Perez, Matthew, Case Closed 7. What's up? PHX 602. What's good? Fans Dance. Let's go. 187. Hey, Peter Parker, my man. 49ers first takes. What's good, Aaron, my dude? What's good? Good to see you. Oh man, all the folks are here. It is good to see you, 49er Jeff. What is up? Oscar Rodriguez, Case Closed. Man, what's up, everybody? Debtopia, let's go, man. Niner Talks. What's up, everybody? I'm hyped. I'm happy to be here, but I'm actually just happy that Brock Purdy's healthy. I love you too, Medulla. I'm just happy that this team is healthy. They just look hungry. Like, you can just sense this team they're ready to fucking go. They're ready to rock and roll. Oh man, it's just a nice time. It's a vibe. Real quick, I'm a little warm. I'm gonna get my fan. I honestly, right before I started this stream, I just got home. I'm hot. It was hot out there. I came home, took a quick shower. After I worked in the clinic, I went and saw 2 patients, and it was just hot out there driving around town. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get we'll put a little timer, and then I'll come right back down. We'll talk about Nick Bosa and all that other good jazz. So give me 30 seconds. Okay, we back. Deebo sent Raj a pic with his shirt off, says C-Mac. He did, man. Woo, piping that. All right, pause real quick. Deebo definitely looks in incredible shape. Let's talk about Deebo. I know there's other news, but we'll segue to that. What's up, C-Mac? My boy C-Mac in the building. What's good? Keep your head on, my boy. I love you. Much love to C-Mac, man. It's good to see you in the chat. Let's talk about Deebo, because I've talked about him, every once in a while this offseason when I have been live. But Kyle Shanahan, so he basically said that he never had a grown man send me so many pictures with the shirt off, but it looks good, right? He basically was saying that, how everybody was talking about how Deebo Samuel and his fitness this offseason, how he came in on a different mentality, because last year people were dogging him. He came into camp out of shape. He had the contract situation. It was a weird offseason for him. He didn't really get to train. He was kind of holding out, waiting for that contract, right? And he didn't get to train. He came in a couple pounds, a couple lbs, over the weight limit that we probably noticed, right? A lot of people was dogging him because of the weight, and he was a little slower. He wasn't in shape. He got injured, and he still was explosive at times, but he just didn't have that endurance. Because there was time, a 79-yard touchdown in the playoffs. Like, there were moments where I was like, damn, that's Deebo, but it wasn't consistent through the year. In the offseason, flash forward, he says he didn't like how he was last year. He knows he could do better. He took accountability, and then today, Kyle was like, look, he showed me pictures. We know he was working. We've seen all the stuff he's posted on his, IG over the last couple months. He's worked with Saquon Barkley. He's worked with D-Hop. Like, he's been in the lab, just sculpting himself. I'm ready for Deebo, man. Like, Deebo is going to go crazy this year because he also wants to still get paid one more, like, big contract. He had his extension, but he's still in line to go get another big contract because he signed a 3-year extension. He still wants another 2 or 3 year extension. So I'm telling you, Deebo is mad about himself. This guy knows he's a star in the league. He's tough, man. And if Deebo's not happy with how he played last year, he's going to bring the heat. I think this year Deebo is going to go absolutely crazy. I love Brandon Ayuk. We know he's going to do his thing. He's just got that contract year. He's got that mentality. BA is going to attack it. But I feel like these two together, they've been plotting. They've been working. They want to be the best in the league. They got a duo. They want to be a dynamic duo that kind of controls the league. So happy to see where Deebo is. And that quote made me laugh so much when Kyle's like, hey, he sent me, I never had a grown man send me all these, shirtless pics. Had me rolling. But, that's the thing. I think Deebo's happy because he knows. He's like, man, I fucked up last year. I came into camp out of shape. And this year he knows he looks good. He's like, look, I'm going to tell Kyle, like, look, you don't have to worry about me. I took accountability. I'm coming in, Kyle. I want to attack. I want to be that guy. I want to be that Deebo from 2021. I want to help you win a championship. So, like, it gave me chills because at the same time, Deebo, he's got that fire in his belly. He doesn't have all the crab legs in his belly this offseason. He got that fire in his belly. He wants to go to work, baby. He wants to come and win that 6th Lombardi. He wants to come out there and get revenge on the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go, Deebo. I'm excited. Slime, baby. It's my slime. We all love Deebo. And he's going to come full bore. Again, last year he had the contract situation. It was a weird situation. So this year he's focused. It's Deebo season, Nathan. You're right. Deb says, low-key, Kyle is funny. Kyle is a quote machine. Sometimes I just listen to his stuff, and he just says the darndest things, right? When he said last year, I don't know who's going to be alive on Sunday. Like, some of the stuff he says, shit has me rolling. I was dying on that. So shout out to Kyle for giving us another great sound clip, another great quote. I sit there and listen to his press conference. I probably have at least 2 quotes a conference. I'm like, God, this guy just gives us so much good content. So what's good, Travis? What's he says, I hope everything's good. I'm good, man. Good to be back. Good to see you, Travis. Good for checking in. Speaking of contracts, let's segue here. This is a good way to segue. Speaking of contracts, okay, so Deebo last year was in his contract. It was a tough situation. Now this year you got Nick Bosa. He's in a contract situation. And this is what they had to say in case you missed it. Obviously, I'm sure you guys haven't. You haven't, you know what they said. So let's talk about Nick Bosa. So today, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan says they don't expect Nick Bosa to be with the team to begin training camp as he continues to work on a long-term extension. He's basically not going to step on the field until his contract is signed. He's going to hold out. This is kind of what Cam Inman and myself talked about last night, kind of that hold in, hold out situation. He'll get fined $50K every practice, but at the end of the day, he doesn't need to risk being on the field until he gets his money. And I think it's a smart move. I don't think Bosa has animosity or anything. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they're just still trying to work their way towards that contract. That's all it is. It's not Bosa being a bitch. It's not Bosa being, a baby. It's not the Niners trying to lowball him. It's just it takes time to work out these contracts, get the language of the contracts and all the incentives, all the numbers. It takes a little bit of time. So you can't just, bibbity bobbity boo it and have a contract overnight. You can't just sit there and say, oh, there you go, contract set, signed, sealed, delivered. You got to get the numbers. You got to crunch it. Parag's got to get things set. They got to work on the incentives. They got to make sure everything comes down to a fine-tooth wire. I'm sure they'll sign it because they do this every year. Training camp comes, they got a star, and they get it, and then now everybody's like, okay, all is good in the world. Nick Bosa is probably going to get the highest paid defensive contract in the NFL, right? Justin Herbert today just signed a massive contract, and I think the next massive contract is going to be Nick Bosa. So they got to hammer out the details. But again, he's not going to step on the field until his contract is signed, sealed, delivered. And it's smart because what if he goes on training camp and he does something and he injures himself and he doesn't get his money? And it's the same situation as Deebo. But the thing about Nick Bosa is they trust him. He holds himself accountable. Like, this guy is so disciplined with his body. I know he trained all offseason. Like, he's not the type of guy that's going to, like, not train. He's not the type of guy that's going to go out there and like, waste himself and, not put himself to be ready for the season. Kyle knows. He trusts him. Last, in minicamp, he said it. He says, Nick called me. He says, I've been working out, been at the gym, eating my healthy food, and been on the boat. That's my off season. That's his regimen. Like, he's disciplined. He does the same thing every single day. No worries. They just got to hammer out the details. I don't think there's anything to be worried about. Yeah, my man C-Max says Bosa can miss the entire training camp. He's earned it 100%. Like that's the thing. Nick Bosa can sit out the entire training. He doesn't need a train. There's nothing that he can gain. Like, he's the best player on this defense. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to see him go up against Trent a couple times, run some reps. He's gonna stay in shape no matter what because he's gonna do his own thing. He just got to wait till he gets that contract, and I think he's gonna sign a record-setting contract. I really do. 5-year deal, most likely, 130. I'm gonna say between 90 and 100 mil guaranteed. That's my prediction. 5 years, 130 mil. We'll say about 90 to 100 guaranteed, somewhere in that ballpark. And it's gonna be amazing, and we're all gonna be hyped. We're gonna lose our minds. We're gonna lose our absolute minds, and I can't wait to talk about it when it happens. So I'm pretty sure it'll happen sooner rather than later. So, yeah, good stuff. The team can waive the fine because he's still on a rookie deal, says Russell. And Luke says there is no fine. Kyle even said in the presser. So there are some little fine details, So at the end of the day, Nick Bosa is not going to sweat it. He's still getting paid on his rookie deal, but they gave him the 5th-year option. So he's getting paid well, handsomely well, and they'll find out the details in the contract. And again, there's nothing to worry about. It just takes time to get the language in these contracts. If we would have heard reports a couple weeks ago and a couple months ago that they're far away on a contract extension, they don't want to, pursue, and it could have been messy. But everything right now that we've seen and we've heard over the last couple of months with Nick Bosa, there's no issue. It's just the process, and he's going to get paid very well, very well. He could be eating good, baby. He's gonna be eating good. Maybe he'll have that. He might have to. Don't hire Deebo Chef. That's all I gotta say. That guy's awesome. he be cooking up some good stuff. Stay away, Nick. I know you want to celebrate, but keep it light, Nick. Stick to the chicken and the salads. Just stick to what you do. But good stuff, man. Nick Bosa. Again, I'm sure he'll get his money sooner rather than later. So, yeah. Again, the big 2 stories that everybody was kind of looking into as John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talked were, again, Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa. Brock Purdy's cleared. He's ready to roll. And here comes Nick Bosa. So I love it. Good to hear. Good news. Great news. Again, Nick Bosa won't be there, but I'm sure he'll get his money sooner rather than later. To me, there's nothing to worry about. There was a couple of little injury news things here and there. Let's kind of get those out of the way so we can move on. Again, the 49ers did sign a veteran cornerback today, Terrence Mitchell. They did this because Terrell Luther Jr. Last week it was reported that he went on the PUP list, and today we found out the reason why. So Darrell Luther basically he hyperextended his knee and he suffered a bone bruise in OTAs. They placed him on the PUP list, so they had to bring in a guy for training camp, and that's a veteran, Terrence Mitchell. So basically, he's there to kind of fill in the void by the rookie. We'll see if Luther, is able to join the team maybe down the line. It does kind of set him back a little bit because he doesn't really get to go out there and go into training camp as a rookie, and it's going to set him back. So maybe he'll go on the practice squad, eventually, kind of take a redshirt year this year. We'll see, unless he really is somebody that comes back, comes into speed, and is like, wow, flashes. But again, Terrence Mitchell here, he has an opportunity to maybe carve out a role and compete with the other cornerbacks. I don't think he'll make the final roster, but they need bodies. Training camp, preseason, so there you go. And another guy that had a little bit of an injury, our punter, Mitch Wishnowski. Now, Kyle and John said it wasn't serious. He tweaked a muscle while he was lifting weights. Why you got the punter lifting all these weights? I get it. He needs to be strong, but you just make sure he don't skip leg day and keep him away from the weight machine. That's all we got to do. He tweaked the muscle lifting weights, and now he's on the non-football injury list, the NFI list. They said it's not a big deal, but it's our punter, a fourth-round pick punter. Let's make sure. Let's keep an eye on this one. I just want to keep an eye on Mitch. Make sure he's good. I hope he's okay. They said he tweaked the muscle while he was lifting weights. Keep the punter away from the weight room. Just let him work on leg day. That's it. Keep him away from the weights at the end of the day. But let's see. That's kind of the major news of the day. Fred Warner, he kind of made a little sarcastic joke about Brandon Ayuk, who last night or yesterday on Instagram called out all the defensive players. He said, if you're wearing white, this is you all week. He said, that's my message to you all week. And they told him that today in the press conference. And Fred Warner says, good luck. With the smirk, he said, good luck. So I'm excited to see the 49ers defense versus the 49ers offense. Oh, man, they got that rivalry. It's iron sharpens iron. It's competitive. That's why I love this team because, yeah, they're teammates. They support each other during the season. But training camp, they're going to go at each other's neck, and they're going to bring the best out of everybody. Competition breeds success. Like, these guys want to go at it. It's war. They haven't played football all offseason. They're ready to attack it. And just because they're teammates doesn't mean they can't go, hardcore on each other on the practice field. So it's going to be fun. I'm just waiting for the, gates to open tomorrow. And I think it's going to be an absolute fun time. And I think that these two teams, they got a lot. These two sides, defense and offense, are two of the most talent-laden forces in the NFL. And they're ready to go toe-to-toe and just battle it out. It's going to be fun. So good stuff, man. Well, man, Peter Parker says, Mitch out there trying to lift like Ronnie Coleman. Come on, man. Right? Just stay away from the weights. Stay away. Flood. What's up, Steve-O? What's brother? Dope hat. Appreciate you. Slime Bowl hat. This is last year's version from Residency. They got a new one this year. I posted on the page yesterday. It's a white one. White and black. Looks nice. Residency. If you get one, use the code OurSF49ers. You get a little bit of a discount, 10% off. My man. Let's see some questions. So Flood says, why do you think Ward doesn't get his respect? He's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I think he is. I think the thing is he didn't get a lot of turnovers, but it's not a bad thing. It's because people were staying away from him. Beginning of the season, remember he was getting picks. He had some PBUs, and he was getting all the hype. But I think because he's still relatively unknown in terms of the grand, in the quarterback market. He hasn't been, playing cornerback for years. He's been in the league less than 6 years. So he's still relatively young. I think he's kind of coming into his own over the last couple of years. And now with the 49ers, he's become CB1. And he hasn't really had that hype over the last couple of years before he came to the Niners. Now he's that leading cornerback. He's the guy. He's the secondary guy. And I think this year he'll take a bigger role in terms of, leadership. That's what yesterday I was talking to Cam Inman, and he goes, Mooney said he wants to take a bigger role. He wants to be a captain. He wants to be that Jimmy Ward, like, veteran presence. But the thing is, and Cam said this too, is if you're going to talk that talk and you're going to be out there and you're going to be squawking, and saying what you got to say, and you're going to be a better player like that, we have to see him be able to talk and back it up. Like, that's the thing. He has to put stats on the board. And people in the NFL, it's people look at the stats and that's all they care about. So he has to put up some turnovers. He's got to turn some of those PBUs into interceptions, make some big plays. Some pick six, things like that. He's got to get the media behind him. He's got to get the people, tweeting his name out. That's what it in the NFL nowadays with social media. It's all about how you're received by the fan base, how you're perceived by all these media outlets. That's it. Like, I get players all the time. They'll hit me up. Hey, can you post my stats? Can you do this? I need, during the off season, they want to get that bag, right? So they got to hype themselves up. They look into these social media accounts, and that's what it is. If you're already getting the hype during the season, it's going to be easier to appeal to teams and, the media out there, sports media. So I think Mooney just has to be more vocal, and I think he just needs to get more recognition across the media. Obviously, 49er fans, we know him, we love him. He's our CB1, but not a lot of teams out there, not a lot of casual fans know about his name yet. He's not a household name, but I think he will be eventually. So, my man 49ers minded. Dabtopius, the CMC is going to be on fire this season. Frank, Tom, Ocean, first time I caught you live. It's probably because I haven't been live in a very long time. What's up, Frank, Ocean? How we doing? Let's see. Let's get some questions going, and we'll keep rolling with the show. Deb says CMC is going to be fired this season. The guy is chiseled. The guy is chiseled out of stone. Have you seen this guy? You see his latest pic on IG? The guy has he's always been in good shape, but he's just chiseled. He's like Nick Bosa. Him and Nick Bosa, it's like two sculptors came, and they're like, okay, I'm going to sculpt an offensive guy. I'm going to sculpt a defensive guy. And they took this stone or marble, and they chiseled this freaking crazy, like, perfect physique guy. It's insane. Those two guys are just specimens. They're freaks of nature, and they're amazing. CMC is definitely going to be on fire this season. A full year of CMC in the offense? Are you kidding me? You see what they did last year when he came into this offense? The offense just went crazy. Full year of the system, of Kyle's offense, of knowing the playbook. And he's got a whole offseason that he's trained, and now he's going to go into his first training camp with the Niners. CMC's crazy, man. Best running back in the league. Peter Parker says, DK Metcalf knows who Mooney is. Oh, man. Let's throw back to that Seattle game last year. Mooney was giving them the sauce. They were fighting back and forth. They were throwing each other. Mooney was in his head. He was just living in that guy's head rent-free. DK Metcalf definitely knows who Mooney Ward was last year. And I cannot wait to see Mooney get in his head. He got in his head so much. I love it. Yeah, he's disciplined. Sharia Sati, what's up? He says Isaiah Oliver is the signing that no one's talking about. He's about to take this defense to another level since he's an elite nickel cornerback, unlike when we had Jimmy play last year at nickel. Yeah, and no disrespect to Jimmy. I love Jimmy Ward. Guy's a veteran, a quality, player over the years, but he didn't play. That wasn't his normal position. He had to kind of get up to speed and learn the nuances. He's not a nickel cornerback. He's a safety. So, yeah, it took him a little time to kind of get adapted, and he was coming off an injury. So having a guy that's a natural nickel, he's going to go in there, and he's just going to play the role because he knows it. He knows the angles, and he knows all of the formations, and it's just going to be easy for him to acclimate. I know he's a new player, but he knows the role of the nickel cornerback. Whereas Jimmy, he's been safety mindset over the last couple of years. I know before that he's played every role on the defense in the secondary. But when you're going from pure safety, all of a sudden you have to switch to nickel. It's a bit of an adjustment, and you're right. So Isaiah Oliver, underrated player. I think that was an underrated signing. I think you're right, Sharty. I think he's going to be absolutely invaluable to this defense, and he's going to be a very good underrated player. I agree with you on your assessment. Natural nickel. He's going to come right in. He's going to basically be K'Wan Williams 2.0. He's going to blitz. I know he's going to come off the edge and blitz. I'm telling you, everybody remembers K'Wan Williams and how vital he was to this defense. I have a feeling Isaiah Oliver is just going to be exactly like K'Wan. And when Williams was on this defense, he was the best nickel corner in the NFL. And Isaiah Oliver can be exactly like that. You're absolutely right. That's it. Good call. Good call. I love it. And Flood says, what under the radar player do you think will have the biggest impact on the team this year? I think we just answered the question. Isaiah Oliver, I think, is that player. I think he's that player. Nobody really is talking about him. You guys are absolutely right. Nobody's talking about Isaiah Oliver, and he might be one of the most underrated players on this team this year. I think that he's going to go under the radar, but he's going to be a very pivotal part of this defense. Because you got to remember, you kind of have a new secondary. He's going to be a new starter. You got Deommodore Lenoir now as CB2, and Mooney Ward. They're going to pick. They're going to try to pick on Isaiah Oliver, and if he can make those big plays and get some picks and get some sacks at the safety at the nickel spot, this guy's going to make a huge impact. So I think the answer right there is what we just said, is Isaiah Oliver. That's the pick. That's the move. Jennings versus Woolen. Peter Parker. I can't wait to see that too. Mindus says, congrats on 10K subs. What's up? Appreciate that, my man. My man Bash. Go follow my man Bash, 49er Minded. I've been messing with this guy for years. Cool dude. I remember meeting him at a game, off-season or preseason game. Always hype. Gotta love my boy Bash. Check him out. He's always grinding too. So much respect. That's the guy. Always love to see all the other content creators, all the Niner fan base. All the content creators out there are great. And me, I love them all. We all vibe. I try to help them all out. So good stuff, man. He says, not as hyped as you. I was crazy that night. You're right. I hope to cross paths this season. I hope so. We do. I hope we do too. Hope I cross paths with everybody out there this year. So, what's up, Myth Vibes? What's up? I haven't seen you I haven't seen a lot of you guys in a minute. So, again, shout out to the chat. I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. He says, I hope Deshaun Jameson gets a shot because of the Luther injury. I heard good things about him. I have too. Larry Krueger has talked very highly about him. As you know, on Mondays, me and Krug, not every Monday, but most of the time, me and Krug come on and we do our 1:00 p.m. show. And there's been a few shows that we've done, and he's talked about him. He's talked about Jameson, and he said he has a lot of potential. That's another guy. Like, that's the thing. The Niners have a lot of young secondary players that have a chance to really step in and take and carve a role. I really do. I really think that there's a lot of underrated players. That's the 49ers. Their mentalities. They draft good. They get great undrafted players, and they develop them, and boom. There's a lot of talent, man. I feel like the players that don't make the final roster, that get cut, that get, placed on the practice squad or whatever the case is, they all can be on another NFL team. Like, the 49ers talent is just spoiled riches. Like, their starters are great, but the backups are just they're great themselves, and they could be on another team and be quality starters, which is crazy because you see when other players, when players leave this team and go to another team, a lot of times they're really good in the league, and you see them get highlights on Sundays when we watch other games. It's like, come on, man, I wish this guy would have stayed on the team, but we can't keep everybody. That's the one problem of drafting so good and developing these young players and, getting undrafted people the way that the 49ers do. We can't keep them all, and then they thrive elsewhere in the league. But shout out to them. It's always good to see them do well. And then when we can't re-sign a player, or if we trade someone, they do pretty good. Like DJ Jones and, Defoe, et cetera, et cetera. It's nice to see them have success on other teams. So 49er Lover says, what is CMC overall yards this season? I think he can get 2,000 yards, rushing and receiving combined. I think at least he should be on pace for 2,000. I mean, the guy was a monster. Like, he did everything. He caught passes. He ran touchdowns. The guy was even throwing touchdown passes. CMC is unbelievable. I don't think 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards, is out of the question. I think that's light work, So I think it's light work. Mario says, I'm ready for victory Mondays. Check this real quick. I got a new on my birthday. One of my I got this. I got a couple things, but this was my favorite shirt I got from my birthday a couple months ago. I haven't worn it yet because I'll show you. I'll be right back. There it is. Victory Monday. Look at this. We got a shirt for Victory Monday. This right here. I cannot wait to wear this shirt after every victory on a Monday. Like, look how dope this thing is. This is amazing. I cannot wait to break this thing out during this. I'm so excited to wear that shirt. It's going to be dope. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to bust this out, walk around town with the Victory Monday shirt. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We'll be right back for these messages. I can't wait. When am I going to put up the press coverage? We already put up all the coverage that we had today, but I'll be there tomorrow and try to get as much content as we can. So, but yeah, as soon as we get content, we always try to get it out for you. So he says, I think we're going to see the 2019 version of Armstead because Hargrave coming in. Yeah, I agree with that too. That's one thing we talked about last night with Cam Inman is, Hargrave's impact is going to be so important to this defense. He's going to be like that Justin Smith type, guy, DeForest Buckner, where he goes in there, he crashes the middle, he commands a lot of attention in the interior, and it's going to open up lanes for obviously Bosa and whoever else, and Armstead. That's how Armstead thrived that year. He got double-digit sacks in 2019. Armstead was cleaning up because you had, you can't cover Defoe, you can't cover Nick Bosa, and then when Ford was healthy, like you couldn't cover all those guys on the O-line, and then Armstead would just slip right through, and he'd pick up those sacks, cleanup sacks, and I think that's absolutely what's going to happen this year. Yeah, good call. So, my man Darren says, click that like button. Let's click that like button. Minded says Armstead will be doing work this year. Absolutely, he's going to do that work because that's what he always gets in the trenches. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's kind of that run stuffer. He really is a vital part of his defensive line, but he doesn't get the pretty stats, right? He gets paid a lot of money, and he doesn't get all the sacks, the glorious stats, the stats that people want to see. Oh, he doesn't get sacks, so he's not important. But this guy is absolutely important to this defensive line, man. But last year, he didn't really have a running mate. Armstead or DJ Jones was gone. Kinlaw wasn't healthy. And everybody else on that interior just didn't have that oomph that we needed out of Armstead. Then he had the plantar fasciitis, so he just was slowed down a little bit, But for the most part, man, this guy's been a vital part of this defense. Just how he helped stop the run in the Green Bay game, in the Frozen Tundra playoff game a couple years back. This guy was one of the keys to winning. He had the 2 sacks on Rodgers. He was all over the place. Like, this guy, when he's on, he's on. And I think that Armstead this year will be able to get more sacks because of Hargrave. Hargrave's going to be very, very, very important. So I'm excited. Week 1, Purdy versus Watt scares me. That's going to be a good game. Steelers are tough. They got a good defense. J.J. Watt's going to be coming for blood. But hopefully the O-line can protect our guy Purdy. But the thing is, he's got to make it through training camp 100%. Like, I know he's the guy, but let's just make sure he gets through training camp unscathed. I'm sure he will. But at the end of the day, let's just make sure that Purdy goes through his rest of this offseason. He's got a couple more weeks. And so far, he's gone through without any hitches. He's passed every test. This is the next big test before the season starts, and that's training camp. So I'm just so excited to see Brock Purdy, though. I really am. I'm so excited to see Brock and Trey. And, again, going back to the whole Purdy thing, it's just nice to know that he came through and he got healthy. It's just good news. It's heartwarming news because I felt so bad. I mean, UCL tear, everybody's sitting there saying career's over before it started. I mean, the story was so amazing last year. He went from Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft, and he was the savior of the team. And then all of a sudden, tore the UCL, and everybody's writing him off. There were so many people that said he wasn't even going to come back this year. And 5 months, I really think he's got Wolverine blood or something. This guy, 5 months, fucking Wolverine, dude. So, good stuff. Pray for health. Absolutely. Russell says, the fact that he tried to go back out there and play, even after injury, again, Brock's got that dog in him. Like, that's why he's the starter. That's why Kyle believes in him. He's tough. He's gutsy. He's physical. Remember earlier in the season, he played with the rib, the contusion, the rib contusion. The guy had the flak jacket, and he was playing with the rib injury. Got that dog in him, and he still went out there, and he was slinging it, winning the game. That's why Brock's the starter. And there's no disrespect to Trey. I absolutely love Trey. Good guy. I've talked to him. I've met him. And he's got the potential. He's got all the skill set in the world. But Brock is confident. He's been a 4-year starter at a Big Ten school before he came to the NFL. He's got experience. He knows how to lead, and he's so confident. The fact that he got thrown into the fire last year, last pick in the draft, people were like, "Oh God, it's over. Oh God, we need to go trade for. Let's go get Big Ben." Fuck that, Brock said. I'm your quarterback, and he took over, and he was slinging it from day one. He was doing the little injected into my veins celebration, ice in the veins celebration. He was pumping the chest, swagging, hyping. Let's go. The guy was the last pick in the draft, and he was the most confident player in that team, in that club, in that locker room. And the players they have on that team, on offense, Trent Williams, George Kittle, CMC, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and to look them in the eyes and say, I'm your captain, bro's got that dog in him. Gotta love it. So that's why he's the guy. I absolutely love Trey Lance, but you cannot knock Brock's hunger and desire. I think Flood says it. I'm a Trey fan, but you have to respect Brock's determination to come back so quickly. The guy's hungry, man. He knows if he slips up, if he doesn't come back, Trey's going to come out. We know Trey's coming out slinging it no matter what, even though they named Trey the number one quarterback. Or Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy, number one quarterback. You think Trey's going to tuck his tail in? No, he's coming out and he's still balling. He's still going to go out there and light up training camp. He's still got something to prove. And Brock knows that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. If we did a redraft, he would have went top 10 guaranteed, says Mark. Brock Purdy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Eric says, honestly, I can see why Brock's the guy. He came into Seattle and won at Lumen Field. That's absolutely incredible. And he was a fucking rookie, man. You know how many years they were dogging us, man, to have, that was such a good moment last year. You see this rookie just sprinting on the field and let's go. And he just made light work. The little no-look pass to Kittle. Oh, I lost it. He deserves it. 49er Jeff, my man, he says, is Brock the captain? It's a good question. We had this talk yesterday with Cam Inman on my IG, and we brought up the question of who's going to be the captain. It's a very good question. They haven't picked captains yet. Typically they pick 6 captains, usually somewhere around there. A couple on defense, couple on offense. I don't know if he's going to be a captain. I think he will eventually. You definitely want your quarterback to be captain, but they got some guys, that make a case. Let's talk about offense. You got CMC. He literally became the leader last year. If you really put two into, if you really think about it, this team was kind of at a loss. They started at that slow, typical 49ers slow start, and CMC comes in and he changed the tide. Obviously, Brock was a quarterback, but a lot of it was tied to CMC, and he just changed the offense. He's come in this year. He feels like a leader of this team. He was a superstar in Carolina, and now again, he's still a superstar status. I think that CMC deserves to be a captain. George Kittle, he's the voice. He's the guy that people look up to. He's been on this team since 2017, since Lynch and Shanahan took over this team. He's 30 years old. He's one of the elder statesmen. The tight ends look up to him. The linemen look up to him. Everybody looks up to him. Whenever the press conferences come, he's the voice of reason. George Kittle, he's the voice. He's the people's tight end. He's captain. That's 2. And then you got Trent Williams, man. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's the guy that all the offensive linemen look up to. And I'm talking to these players in the offseason like Burford, Jason Poe, all these guys, Aaron Banks. They're all like, oh, yeah, I was talking to Trent Williams all offseason. He took me under his wing. Spencer Burford worked alongside Trent Williams all offseason. They look up to Trent. He's their dad, man. He's it's like, remember when people say Uncle Sherm? It's like Uncle Trent for all these linemen out there, old linemen. So he's the wise guy. That's your 3 captains on offense, in my opinion. And then on defense, Nick Bosa. You're about to pay him a big old contract. better be captain. He's the best player on your defense. Like, he was coming into his own as a star last year, and they gave him that captain badge, and they forced him to do, the hypes, the speeches Saturday before they like. He kind of is starting to come out of his shell. You could tell, you could see that, because he's a quiet guy, but you could see sometimes he takes more of a vocal lead. He's the leader. Fred Warner, he's literally Captain Fred. He's the guy. He's the one of the longer term guys. He's the veteran of the clubhouse. He's the quarterback on the defense. You can't, say that Fred Warner is not a captain. And then it probably comes down to Mooney. I know he wants to take over that role. You got Gibson there, and then you got Armstead. I think Armstead deserves to be a captain. He's been on this team for 9 years. He's the longest tenured Niner now that Jimmy Ward's gone. And Armstead, man, he's well respected in the locker room. So I think that's it. You got Armstead, you got Warner, you got Bosa, you got Kittle, you got CMC and Trey Williams. Those are, in my opinion, those are the captains. But I think Brock Purdy eventually can be a captain. And you got Talanoa Hufanga, man. He's a young leader. He could definitely be a captain very well one day, maybe next year. So we'll see. Jeff says, the 49er Jeff, I see a mic'd up Deebo. He was motivating. Deebo's definitely like, he gives me captain vibes. He motivates everybody. It's so tough on offense. They got a lot of players that are worthy. I think Deebo could be a captain too. It's to me, it's between Deebo and CMC for that other captain spot. And I just see CMC being like the guy because he works so hard. Like, one of the things that everybody said about him when he came to this team last year and even this offseason is he works so hard, and people see his work ethic and they're like, damn, look how good he is. He's like a superstar, and he still comes in early. He still works his ass off. He's just incredible. And he's been a superstar in this league. And it's like, when you get to that point, a lot of times these players are like kind of nonchalant, whatever. But he still works hard as he did as when he was a rookie. Maybe even harder. Like, I love that mentality that he has, and that's why he's a captain. And he just looks of the part. And again, like, when he came into this team, that's what everybody says. They were like, man, from day one, he was just putting in the work, and he was a newcomer. It wasn't just to earn respect. That's just him. And people are like, man, if he's going to work that hard, I got to work that hard. That's a leader to me. And, man, it's the problem. At the end of the day, this team has just so many good players. This is a good problem to have. So, Key, I love this question. He says, are you predicting any fights in camp? Who do you think gets into it? Honestly, man, I want to see Fred Warner and Brandon Ayuk round 2. They were getting hostile. I remember front row seat, and everybody lost it. Everybody went crazy. I just was like, what the hell is going? We were going wild. Like, that was so funny, dude. Because all of a sudden, we were like, what the hell is going on? And then Kyle's trying to break everything up. And then afterwards, the press conference, they were so, like, just hyped up, man. But it was all Fred Warner trying to push BA to be the better version of himself. They gave him the business, man. They kept on, because he was kicking their ass in camp. And they were frustrated. And they're pushing him around. And it made BA a tougher player. And you could just see he's kind of grown over the years. When he was a rookie till now, he's just so much more callous, so much more physical. I love it, man. They brought that dog out of him. Like we always say, Kyle wants a physical guy to be as a receiver. Like, that's what he gets. And when BA first came, he was more of a finesse guy. He wasn't that. He said it. He never was told to block. He was always told he was great. And Kyle pushed him to his limit. He had him in the doghouse, and now he's fucking just a beast, calling the players out, telling them it's F you if you're wearing the white jersey. Like, I love how aggressive he is now, man. He's just different. He's just really grown as a player. And it's because you have guys like Fred Warner pushing him. And that's, again, another reason why Fred Warner should be a captain. He knows how to get the most out of these players. I love it, man. Other fights I can see, maybe Deommodore Lenoir gets into it. Him and BA been going back at it. BA and Lenoir have been kind of going back at it on IG over the last couple of weeks, if you've been looking into it. I know I haven't posted a lot, but I've seen it. They've been kind of going back and forth. I can see it. I know there's going to be at least one or two little altercations, because it gets chippy. Players get hyped. They want to protect their turf, their territory. Defense wants to be better than the offense. Offense wants to be better than defense. So I know there's going to be at least one, little hiccup there. But it makes it stronger. It makes you better. It's competition. These guys are brothers at the end of the day, but I do think there'll be a little bit of an altercation. I think it's going to be centered around Brandon Ayuk. He's going to dog these guys like he did. Like he worked these. He was walking circles. He was walking circles around these guys. I remember, like, the only guy on the defense for the first couple days that was like having like just dominating the offense was Travarius Ward. I remember Mooney Ward. Like he was, I was like, oh, Mooney came, and BA was. It was like those two guys were just a cut above everybody last year. And then this year, and then Mooney, I think he had a hamstring, so they kept him back. Yeah, we're gonna shut him down for a few weeks, so they didn't want him to get hurt. It wasn't big deal. It wasn't a big deal, but it was, it was a little injury. He hadn't trained camp, a little hamstring tightness, so they kept him out. When Mooney was gone for those like 2 weeks, Brandon Ayuk just dominated everybody, even more because you didn't have Ayuk or you didn't have Mooney out there, and then Fred Warner and him. So yeah, I hope there's another Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner round 2. I want to see it. So, Peter Parker says, I want to see Trey make some noise when he gets his chance. I want to see Trey come out there, sling that tomorrow. Let's see. Let's take a couple last questions. Eric says, Sherm, I definitely know about him. He was a leader in Seattle, leader in San Fran. Yeah, Sherman was a man. He was a beast, man. 49ers, Raj, what's up? He says, the best linebacker in the NFL versus the best running back in the NFL. That's a battle. I mean, that's going to be a fun battle. Fred Warner versus CNC. That's going to be fun, man. That's going to be a fun matchup. You're absolutely right. Gold-blooded. What's up, man? He says, the divide in the fan base is nauseating once again. Don't see how fans put all their stock into a player instead of the team. Maybe I'm old school. The Trey fans are way too bitter. I agree to an extent. Like, I get it. We all have our favorite players and we love, but they all wear the same jersey. They all wear red and gold. I like the team. I like the players. They're a brotherhood. And I just can't stand how people are like just hating. Pat. Like Trey Lance and Brock, and it doesn't have to be one or the other. I like them both. It's unfortunate for Trey that he's not the QB1, but they've told us this. They've told us from the start, and people kept painting this picture that Trey's going to come in and steal the job. Kyle Shanahan said it weeks and months ago, and he kept saying, and John Lynch said, he says, they both said, as long as Brock Purdy is healthy, he's a starter. He's the leader of the clubhouse. Nothing changed, and that's what happened today. And I absolutely love Trey Lance, but unfortunate for him, Brock Purdy came in and he made the most of his chance last year. It's a business, man. It's a business. That's life. It sucks, for Trey, but that's the business, man. You want to win games. You want to put your team in the best position to win a Super Bowl, to win games. And last year, based on last year, that's all we can base it off of. Brock Purdy proved himself that he can win games. So that's it. But it's going to make Trey play harder and play better at the end of the day. It should push him to be a better player. And I think it has. You can tell, like, he has really went into this offseason. He's a different guy. He looks bigger. He looks faster. He looks stronger. He really worked his way, into he looks bigger, just like Brock does. But he also was coming off an injury. So it's not like he's coming in freshly healthy. He's also coming off a big injury too. So Trey got to prove himself, and he's still got a lot to learn. He doesn't have the experience of Brock Purdy, unfortunately. And he put himself with some really good people this offseason. He surrounded himself with good people. Patrick Mahomes and his quarterback coach, and I love it, man. And he looks like he's changed his throwing motion, his mechanics, and it's absolutely amazing to see. But, unfortunate for Trey. Again, Brock Purdy proved himself last year, and he's healthy. So if there's any setbacks, though, it's Trey Lance. Time to shine. So, Flood says, Deebo hooked up Trent with the crazy watch for his birthday. I saw that on his IG. Woo! Deebo got that money, man. He got that. I want him to get me a watch for my birthday. Maybe I'm going to hit up Deebo and tell him, hey, can you get me a watch for my birthday like he gave Trent? That watch must be expensive. Crazy, man. But that's the vibe of this locker room. I love it. This team, man, it's such a good vibe. Love this team, man. They're a brotherhood again. They're going to go to battle. They're going to go to war. They're going to, have a little competition in training camp. But when it's all said and done, as the season starts, they're going to go out there and they're going to go to battle with each other, and they're going to fight to get that Super Bowl championship. So good stuff, man. I love it. Let's do about 2 more questions, and we're going to wrap this up, and then I'll go on Instagram in a little bit and talk to you guys over there or whoever's out there. See. It's pathetic. Gold-blooded. Honestly, a lot of people want to paint it that way, but to me, it's simple. It's Brock Purdy was given an opportunity based on injuries, and he proved himself. That's it. It's really simple to me. People go in the off season, content creators, they got to push their views. They got to push their channel. I mean, if you're doing this for money, if you're trying to make this your living, because I get it. I've been in that situation. That's why I kind of went off the grid, because I had to work this off season. I had to go out there and make money out of a real job, 9 to 5, and my career. And I see the difference when you're putting money behind this and you're just doing it as a hobby. People are just going to say whatever they get. They're going to say anything. They start speculating. They bring anything up. They try to stir the pot, and they make it about controversial topics. But it's really simple. If you strip the fat, if you just go down to the basics, to me, it's simple. It's just like Kyle and Lynch said. They said, hey, Brock's the guy. He's QB1 as long as he's healthy. And that's the case. And, to me, there was no, wild nonsense, no crazy speculate, no, it's Schefter, it's the Rappaports of the world. They like to create this controversy. They like to, get that clout on Twitter, and everybody starts stirring it up. And it's just how it goes, man. It's that's the sports media world, So, anyways. But to me, it was crazy that Kyle, for this is the first year under Kyle's off. It's kind of weird over the last couple of years. Every year, Kyle doesn't want to list he doesn't want to, say who the quarterback one is. He doesn't want to go out there and give too much information. He's kind of keeps his cards at his vest, right? But this year, he's already told us QB1. It's Brock Purdy as long as he's healthy. There's no controversy to me. Every other year, it's like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. I don't know. I can't tell it. Did I say he's quarterback one? I haven't said that. I haven't told you that, Grant. And this year was like, yeah, as long as he's out there, he's quarterback one. It's a different vibe this year. It means they really like Brock Purdy, man. That's it. At the end of the day, he's their guy. And he just has to stay healthy. And if he doesn't, Trey Lance, next man up. Let's go. Let's get it together. If you get an opportunity, go out there and prove yourself. And that's it. That's all we can do. But this team is special. Training camp tomorrow. I'm excited. Happy to be back. It was good to talk to y'all tonight. I'm going to get some water, take a 5-minute break, and I'll go on Instagram. Missed these lives, says 49er Raj. There we go. Got you through your workout. Let's go, baby. Last question real quick. Gold-blooded said, when does Bosa sign? Do they wait it a bit or get it done by this week? I think that's a good question. It's going to be within the next week or two, Last night, me and Cam were talking about it, that maybe Wednesday. I feel like he might miss these first few days. They did it with Deebo. They got it done by that second week, and I think maybe they'll do the same with Nick. Is hammered out they'll have it done. So Monday he'll be ready to report. I mean, best case scenario. But Cam said maybe he'll sit out the whole training camp and then sign it right before the season starts, kind of deal, like TJ Watt. He kind of feels like it's going to be a TJ Watt situation. But I think Bosa and them are closer than a lot of people may expect. So, man, I really was hoping it would be today just to get it out of the way. But, again, these contracts take a little bit of time. If we got to put some money on it, I'm going to say by Monday. They're not going to let it drag out. The Niners don't let this drag out during the offseason. They want to pay Nick. Nick doesn't want to keep, dragging this out. I think they'll figure it out by Monday. So that's my final guess is Monday. But good question, though. My man Shades says Bosa drama is coming up. No, Shades. What's up, Shades? Shardall, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute, but I do not think there's going to be any drama, Shardall. I really don't. I think it's just, again, it's just a matter of time. I think they're both going to hammer something out. It's just, again, these contracts are very complicated. The media is going to want to put a spin on it. Schefter, Rappaport, all that. Like, oh, my God, is he holding out? I don't think there's any drama. It's just got to get the language right. They got to get the incentives right. They have to get the incentives. Sorry, the incentives of the contract proper. So it takes a little bit of time, but give them a couple days. They've been working on it. So he's right there, minded. Shades by Chardon. Here he is. Yeah, that's it. That's about all I got for you right now. I'll be live a little later on IG. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, support the page, share the page, all that blah blah. We coming back on YouTube. I'll try to be live on YouTube through the year, and you know, I'm not gonna go crazy like I was last year because I do got to work a lot this year. But I'll try to be live at least a couple nights a year. We'll talk about what we got to talk about, and I'll continue my content on Instagram and Twitter as much as I can. And again, I appreciate you guys, man, and it's always great to have the back, the faithful supporting and talking to me, and it's fun to talk to you guys. So appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate you for hopping in on the stream. And my man, I will see you eventually later this season, minded. And everybody else, I hope I see you guys at the training camp, at a game somewhere. Chardal says, I missed you. Glad you're back. I missed you guys too. I missed you too. I'm glad to be back. I honestly had a lot to think about this offseason if I was even going to continue this. Again, just a lot of stuff that, went down with social media last year, and it was just not easy on me. So it's good to be back. But, I'm just going to keep working and keep grinding. And I appreciate the support. That's what keeps the pages like this going. And I love y'all. I'll see you soon. Bang, bang. Not again.